All right, in this video, I'm going to answer the question on why you won't recover from depersonalization. Okay, so let's get into it. There are two ways to get over depersonalization, and both ways are basically lowering your stress levels. Now, the two ways are either fixing your lifestyle, meaning what you eat, your sleep cycles, your hydration levels, um, and then your environment, meaning like your relationships. This is what I would call your lifestyle, right? Then the other side is trauma, which is what we read about in the depersonalization books. That depersonalization is caused by trauma, right? Psychological, emotional trauma in childhood or in early adulthood, teenage years, what have you. Now, there are people who can resolve their trauma and then their depersonalization goes away. There are other people who fix their lifestyle and their depersonalization goes away. So basically, an analogy or a metaphor that we can use to understand depersonalization and why we have depersonalization is I like to use the metaphor of a cup or a bucket. I call it the stress bucket, right? And we can do a visualization here. Right? Here's my mango smoothie. But this is the stress bucket, okay? The stress bucket gets filled up when you have trauma. So let's say it gets filled up about halfway. I'll point with my nose. It gets filled about halfway, okay? Or maybe I can, no, I think it's just better if I hold it up. It gets filled up about halfway when we have our trauma. And then it gets filled up all the way to the top according to how bad our lifestyle is, right? And then usually something happens that triggers the DP, right? Sometimes it's a car accident, a bad breakup, a death of a family member, stressful environment, smoking weed. These are some things that when our cup is filled up because of trauma and lifestyle, then something sends us over the edge. We start to spill over. The cup overflows. And that's when we get our symptoms of DP that won't go away. I'm talking to the people that have depersonalization for a prolonged period of time, over months or years, and they have it 24/7 and it just doesn't go away. They're stuck in this loop, right? I know what you've experienced because I've experienced it before as well. So that's what happens when our stress bucket overflows. That's when you feel disconnected, and that's when you feel unreal or existential thoughts or anxiety 24/7. That's what happens when your cup stress bucket overflows. Now, how do we get rid of depersonalization, right? Now that we understand why we have it, how can we get rid of it? Well, there are two ways to get rid of it. You can either resolve your trauma by working with a therapist or doing it yourself by reading books or maybe doing a program that focuses on fixing trauma. And then that would mean that half of your bucket gets emptied out, right? And so now your bucket is no longer overflowing and you won't have any DP symptoms. A lot of people do that and fix their DP. The problem with that is that it is very difficult to find the right therapist that can help you resolve your trauma. It is a very difficult process, and a lot of people don't find the right therapist. That is why when I got over my DP, I went at it from the lifestyle perspective, the lifestyle factors. And the three biggest things that affect your stress are your sleep, hydration, and your diet. And now we have a very skewed perspective on diet specifically. We all know that we're supposed to sleep early and wake up early. We should be going by 8, 9 p.m., waking up at 8 or 9 p.m. or 8 a.m., 7, 8, 9 a.m. We all know that sleeping early is good for us. So there's no confusion there. We all know that drinking water is healthy. How much water should we drink? I drink about 3 liters of water a day at a minimum. So I have 1 liter of water before eat 30 minutes before each of my meals. And then in between that, I'll also drink water. So I actually drink more than 3 liters of water a day. Now, diet is where people get confused because there's so much misinformation out on the internet, and because certain people have big platforms or are popular, then people take that as truth, when in reality that's not truth. When we look at the science, when we look at the peer-reviewed studies, when we look at the scholarly articles, we understand that the healthiest diet for all human beings is a high carb, low fat, vegan diet. And the most important part is that you eat enough calories. You have to eat enough calories every single day that you're on any diet. Doesn't matter if it's high carb, low fat, or if it's any other diet, you should be getting enough calories every single day. And if you don't get enough calories, you're going to feel bad. You're not going to feel good. Now, there are a couple things that people deal with that can get in the way of recovering. Some people are underweight and they need to get their weight back up to a healthy weight so that they can begin the recovery process. There are other people who are on medication. Sometimes it could be hormonal birth control, right? This affects our hormones in a way that is unnatural. So a lot of people can have mental health issues from that. Your hormones do dictate mood. Some people are on SSRIs, and this is also changing your chemical structure in the brain. So we don't know how things are going to affect you. Now, you can work with your doctor to, work with your medications and see what you want to do there. But these are some things that people can bring to the table that can affect your recovery. Now, I talked about the 3 biggest things that affect your lifestyle and the stress involved in your lifestyle. That's sleep, water, and diet. I have an 80-10-10 style diet. What does that mean? That means 80% of my calories come from carbohydrates. 10% of my calories come from fat, and 10% of my calories come from protein. Now, for me to get enough calories every single day, I usually have a smoothie like this, or 2, with some kind of fruit, water, and then I add sugar to my smoothie. And I add a lot of sugar. I probably add around 200 to 300 grams of sugar. If you don't know what that is, go look it up. Go look up conversion tables on Google of how many grams 300 grams is for tablespoons or cups or whatever you want to know. But what I'm saying is I put about 200 to 300 grams of sugar, just regular sugar that you buy at the store, cane sugar, right? I put that in my smoothie, and I put it in, sometimes I have 2 smoothies. So in the morning and maybe around lunchtime. And then at night, I'll have some kind of meal like lentils with rice and tortillas, very high carb. None of my food is cooked with oil. None of my food is cooked with animal products. No butter, no oil, none of that. I limit or avoid overt fats. Overt fats are things like mayonnaise, butter, oil, ghee. All these things are overt fats. So I cook my lentils with no oil, cook my rice with no oil, and I eat tortillas with no oil. And then I may even have juice with sugar on top of that. So you can see that my meals are very high in carbohydrates, low in fat, and low in protein. And I make sure that I don't get hungry throughout the day. If you're getting hungry throughout the day, you're doing it wrong. You're not doing it correctly. not only do I have those 3 meals, the smoothies and the food, I also have snacks. I also eat eat snacks like right now in Mexico. So I go down and I get some corn in a cup. It's just boiled corn, and they have lemon and chili powder in it. No oil, no fats, and I'll have some of that as well. So I'll snack throughout the day too. Now, some people come onto this lifestyle that I do, which is sleeping at 8 or 9 p.m., drinking enough water, which I said is about 3 liters or more a day, and a high carb, low fat, vegan lifestyle, and they still feel like they're not recovering. Well, here's what I have to say to that. You got to understand that this is going to take about a month and a half for you to start to feel better. And when you first go on the diet, it's inevitable that you're going to make mistakes. You don't know what you have to eat. So you're going to have to learn how to eat the right foods, how to cook the right foods, prepare your foods, and always make sure that you're on top of getting enough calories every day. There's going to be a learning curve there. You're not going to get it right the first probably 2 weeks. So you have to take that into account. And then the other things you have to take into account are the things that I said before is if you're coming onto this lifestyle, you're underweight, you're not going to feel good until you're at a healthy weight. And then that's when your month and a half starts. If you're on medication, I cannot guarantee that you're going to feel better on this lifestyle. I cannot guarantee that because you are letting medication come into your system that is changing the chemical structure of your brain and your body, right? So we have no idea how things are going to affect you. When I got on this lifestyle, I was not on medication. I have another recovery story with my friend from Nigeria. He also was off his medication. So those are some things that can affect your recovery, right? Medication and your past lifestyle abuse, right? Because if you're underweight, you're abusing your body because we're starving yourself, and now you have to pay back that debt that you did. You have to pay it back. If you have some kind of eating disorder, you have to get back to a healthy weight, and that's going to make your recovery process take longer. And then the other thing that I see that people do on this diet, or when they try this diet, they make this one mistake a lot of the time, is that they don't eat enough calories. They don't know how to get enough carbohydrate calories in. People are afraid of sugar. They don't want to eat sugar. Well, if you don't eat sugar, it's going to make it very hard to get enough calories in the day on the high carb, low fat vegan lifestyle. It's going to be difficult. So I'm just sharing my experience. I used to be afraid of sugar. I went a whole year without drinking any soda, no juice, no sugar at all. Guess what? I felt bad. I did not feel good. But I thought that it was the right thing to do because I saw it everywhere on the internet. If I ever searched on the internet and said, if I looked up on Google or YouTube and typed in how to eat a healthy diet, every single blog and every single video would say, don't eat sugar. So I listened and I didn't eat sugar. But guess what? It was false. That's the reason that I have my page. That's the reason that I have my YouTube channel, because I made so many mistakes in the 7 years that I tried to cure my own problem, which was anxiety and depersonalization. I made a ton of mistakes. I made all the mistakes that you're about to make or that you have already made, which is trying to figure out how to fix this naturally and reading things online like sugar is bad, blah, 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 do this, do that. I tried everything. Everything on the depersonalization forums, everything that you read on the internet, I did it. And I did it, and I tried and failed for 7 years until I found a thing that works consistently for everyone who does it correctly. Why does it work so well? Because I've narrowed down the 3 things that are the most important for lowering stress in the human body: hydration, sleep, and diet. Eat enough calories. Go high carb, low fat, vegan. Eat enough calories every day. If you don't know how to eat enough calories, look it up on YouTube, how to track calories for beginners. Drink enough water every day. Get enough sleep every day. Do it for a month and a half and watch what happens. That's all I gotta say. Peace.